everyone, it's Anthony here at Talk and Review, and today is the last day of our 4-day reviewing period. I'm all caught up over all the new films that I watched over the Christmas and New Year period, and today we're talking Jumanji: The Next Level. Let's get into it! So Jumanji: The Next Level sees all the characters from the previous film reprise their roles in this one. The only difference is that the avatars that are used in the game are a little bit mixed up. And what I mean by that is there are two new main characters in this movie that weren't in the first, and they are played by Danny DeVito and Danny Glover. So they're very different to what we had before. Obviously we had teenagers before, now we've got a mixture of teenagers and old age pensioners essentially. So what happens is that Spencer finds himself back in the game on purpose, and his friends have to go in there to try and get him out, but also Danny Glover and Danny DeVito get sucked into the game as well. Now the interesting part is that when the characters get sucked into the game, they didn't get a chance to choose which avatars that they are going to be because the console was malfunctioning. So the game automatically assigned them avatars that weren't necessarily the same avatars that they got last time. So you get Kevin Hart and The Rock both playing old age pensioners, and you get Jack Black that's playing Fridge. The only avatar that is getting the same person is Ruby Roundhouse, so stays the same. But because they're changed over, the dynamics of the team is hugely changed, and then that allows for some really good comedic moments, especially from Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had me absolutely wetting myself in this movie. So Kevin Hart's avatar is essentially Danny Glover, and because Kevin Hart is so fast, he's so quick, and he's so loud and in your face all the time with his original comedy, Danny Glover is really slow, really mellow, really soft. So when you mix the two together and you put all of the qualities of Danny Glover into Kevin Hart, what you get is comedy gold, absolute comedy gold, and it had me wiping tears from my face. I was laughing that hard at him. You also get The Rock housing Danny DeVito. Now initially I wasn't bought in by this because the accent that The Rock puts on does feel very, very forced, because Danny DeVito has a very, very distinctive accent, whereas The Rock's accent is very different to it, so he tries to emulate his accent because that's how he would sound. It doesn't come across great to start off with. I feel like as an audience member you kind of get used to it after a period of time, but to start off with you kind of go, I hope he's not going to talk like that throughout the entire movie. I really hope he's not. But you get used to it. It's not something that was going to throw you off from enjoying the movie. There are a lot of other things going on in the movie to pull your focus, so you're not really all the time focusing on that accent, because there are times where it goes all over the place. But, you know, it's not a game breaker. Like what I did there, game breaker. So essentially when they're sucked into the game, they're trying to find Spencer so they can get him out, but the game is at a different level now, so it introduces them to the NPCs. They're basically saying the same things over and over again. You get very much the same kind of vibe and feel from the first one. They're just in a different environment. It's just kind of the next level in whatever game you're playing. That plays absolutely perfectly in terms of what you would expect from this movie. Overall, this movie is very much the same kind of feel as the last movie. So if you really like the last movie, and I really quite enjoyed the last movie, I didn't really have a bad word to say about it. It's a family-friendly, funny movie. This is very much the same of that. If you're going to like that kind of movie, you're going to like this. It doesn't go out of its way to try and be anything other than what it is, and I like that about it. It doesn't try to do something to try and make it better than it is, because it knows what it's good at. It was done very, very quickly after the first. I think after the first, the second was announced very, very quickly. There is a lot of CGI in this movie. There are a lot of big names in this movie. So they knew exactly what they were doing in terms of getting in on something that was kind of like hot property and hot material from the first one. They knew they had to get this out there quickly because it could potentially be something that would be seen as very much samey were it to be left too long. So they knew exactly what they were doing. They executed it fine, and I'm happy with what I got from it. Is it as good as the last movie? No, absolutely not. But I think that's because the last movie took a brand new fresh take to Jumanji. This one doesn't take. I think this one just pushes it along a little bit further. Doesn't mean to say that it's bad. It's okay. It's good. It's just not as good as the first one. And I think I'll leave it there for now, guys. Did you think it was as good as the last movie? Did you think it was any better? leave me a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as well, guys. We've got some really, really good reviews coming out. Nick's got some great fragrance reviews coming up. We've got some interviews that we're really, really looking forward to as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow us on our social media as well, on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll see you guys for the next review. Peace!